Alright, so this is going to be another example of solving equations using factoring and zero product property. So I have a quadratic function right here, x squared plus x is equal to 2. And basically what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to use zero product property. So I need one side to be equal to 0. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this 2 right here over to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. So you're going to have x squared plus x minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, you are now able to use zero product property in part because we have a 0 on one side. The problem is right here we don't actually have a product of two numbers. We just have 3 terms. So what we're going to need to do is factor this x squared plus x minus 2 if it does actually indeed factor. So we're going to test that out right now. Okay, first thing I'm going to do for factoring this is I'm going to solve for AC. Okay, our A in this case is going to be 1 and then our C is negative 2. So 1 times negative 2 is going to be negative 2. So our AC is equal to negative 2. Our B is equal to 1. Now, if you remember, we have to find two numbers that add to get this B term, this 1, that also multiply to get negative 2. Okay, the two numbers that do that would be 2 and negative 1. Okay, because 2 plus negative 1 is 1, 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. So this tells us that this does actually indeed factor using the quadratic technique that we discussed in class. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down this B term right here, this x, this bx right here, into this 2x and this minus 1x. So that's what I'm going to write down right here. So I'm going to rewrite this right here, x squared. Now it's going to be plus 2x plus negative 1x. Okay, so right here, this 2x plus negative 1x is equal to this 1x right here. Okay, so I haven't actually changed anything with this equation yet. Okay, the minus 2 is also going to keep going, so this minus 2 right here, I'm just going to write it right there, and then it's equal to 0. Okay, so this actually is equivalent to what we have right here. So these two, where the arrows are actually equivalent. Next, what we're going to do is I am going to factor this by grouping. If you notice, nothing factors for all of these terms at once, but these two terms actually do factor, and these two terms factor as well. So what I'm going to do is the common factor between these two would be x, so I'm going to put an x in front. X times x is that x squared, and then x times 2 is that 2x. So I should have a plus 2 right here because x times x is x squared, x times 2 is 2x right here. Okay, here, now as a general rule, if you see like a negative 1 like that, it's kind of good to factor that out. So I'm going to factor out the negative, and then so you should end up with x plus 2 here, and then this is equal to 0. Okay, from here, we can do a little bit more factoring because we have a common factor here of x plus 2 and a common factor there of x plus 2. So I'm going to put the x plus 2 in front, like we've done in the past here, and then x minus 1 is going to be the remaining part of that factoring. So if you think about it right here, x plus 2 times x is equal to this first part right here. Okay, x plus 2 times x is equal to x times x plus 2. And then this x plus 2, this whole thing times negative 1 is going to be this negative 1 times x plus 2 right here. Okay, so it still works out. This is equivalent to the step before it. Okay, and this is all going to be equal to 0. Now since we have two factors here, we can set each of them equal to 0. So we're going to have x plus 2 equals 0 and x minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, what I'm going to do for this one is I'm going to subtract 2 from both sides. So x is equal to negative 2. Okay, here I'm going to add 1 to the other side, and x is equal to 1. So I have my two answers right here. X is equal to 1, and x is equal to negative 2. Now, it's really important to go back to the original problem and actually test this out. So if I plug negative 2 in for x up here, you'd have negative 2 squared, which is 4, plus negative 2, which is equal to 2. So that checks out. So this first one right here checks out. So I'm going to put a little check there. This 1 right here, so if you did 1 squared, that would be 1, plus 1, because it's x right here, should be equal to 2. In fact, it is. So these both actually check out. So you can actually check your work each time you do one of these problems to see if your answer is correct. So there is another example of solving equations using factoring and zero product property. If you have any questions about anything in this video, let me know.